Hello and welcome to Searching the Scriptures with Coach Violet. This is our first episode of 2026. Today we're going to explore how God invites us into new things, how Jesus walks out that with us, and how God faithfully completes what he starts. Like a lot of people, the thought of a new year brings some excitement and some renewal, some renewed hope for a better year. I want to share with you some of the scriptures I've been digging into with the theme of God doing something new. We will look at Isaiah 43:18 through 19, Matthew 9 through 17, Philippians 1:6, and Revelation 21:5 through 7. So Isaiah 43:18 and 19 says, "Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." In these two verses, we see a few things. We see that God is telling the people what he is going to do. He says, I'm going to do a new thing. And he's telling them what they are to do. Then we also see that there is a process that will take place. What he is going to do will take time. Now, even though God can do things, instantly, more times than not, he uses that process. So that makes me think of, seed time and harvest. So while he is telling us he is going to do the thing, he is also inviting us into this new thing with him. He is inviting us to believe him and trust him to do it. Now, our part is to forget the former things. And as we look at the deeper meaning here, God is not telling us to erase our memory, pretend the former things, didn't happen, or to deny our past pain or experiences. Science suggests that our subconscious stores everything anyway. So what is God saying? He isn't instructing us to do something that we can't do. So what he is saying is don't dwell on them. Don't rehearse them repeatedly in your mind. Don't allow the memory of what has happened in the past effectively influence your action or expectation of what he can and will do today and in the future. He's saying don't let your past experiences keep you in bondage. Don't let them keep you from trusting him for a different outcome or future. Don't let your past define you. When he tells us not to consider the things of old, he is speaking to how we think about, interpret, and discern things. This is where we can get stuck in old mindsets and old ways of thinking. So how do we know if we're doing that? If we find ourselves saying things like, this is how it's always gone for me, I already know how this will turn out, or I must make this happen all by myself. Those are some old mindsets that we need to, work on. God isn't only inviting us to release what we remember, he's also inviting us to renew how we perceive what he is doing now. So Romans 12:2 tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. This renewal doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. God has unlimited ways of doing things. We see this many times throughout the whole Bible. And then in the New Testament, we see this, with Jesus when he's healing someone. He healed with words, he healed with touch, he used mud and spit and other ways. So this reminds us not to put God in that proverbial box. Anytime God is telling us to let go of something, we can be confident that he has something better for us. So we know when God is doing something new, there are things we cannot take with us from the last season into this new one that's coming. We see this demonstrated, by Jesus himself in Matthew 9 through 17. So Jesus comes on the scene and he calls Matthew, a tax collector, to follow him. In the eyes of the Jewish people, tax collectors like Matthew, they have crossed a line. They worked for the Roman government and they often took advantage of their own people So they were seen as traitors, as outcasts, and as spiritually unclean. No rabbi would have called Matthew to be his disciples. And Matthew didn't qualify, and there was nothing that he could do to change that. But Jesus called Matthew to follow him. He ate with Matthew and other tax collectors and sinners. We see Jesus introducing a new way, his way. And the priests and the Pharisees, they weren't receiving it very well. Jesus was demonstrating how the old ways needed to be forgotten. Going from Matthew 9:17, where Jesus said new wine couldn't be put into old wineskins, God reminded me of Philippians 1:6. Being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. It was a reminder that it is God who has ordained and is doing this new thing. When he instructs us to do something new, when he instructs us to do something new, or he invites us into what he is doing, we can be confident that he who started it will in fact finish it. This then led me to Revelation 21, 5-7, which says, "Then the one seated on the throne said, 'Look, I am making everything new.' He also said, 'Write, because these words are faithful and true.' Then he said to me, 'It is done. I am the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will freely give to the thirsty from the spring of the water of life. The one who conquers will inherit these things, and I will be his God, and he will be my son.'" Now, while this passage speaks to the new heaven and the new earth, we see a pattern weaved throughout all the passages and the scriptures that we've looked at. God announces a new thing. Jesus walks it out with us, and then God is faithful to complete it. The same God who invites us into something new is the same God who finishes what he starts. Because God is not bound by time the way we are, he can see the finished work even while it is still unfolding in our lives. He is not just speaking from the beginning, he is also speaking from the ending. He is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And Revelation 21:7 reminds us that we do have a part. To see the completed, we must overcome. We must trust him, believe him, stick with him, overcome our fears, overcome our doubts, overcome our old mindsets, forget the past. So there are several things that, we may have to overcome. But even in our part, we are not left to do that alone. He is right there with us every step of the way. And so while we don't see every step or every twist and turn that will come along, the way God does. And when we stumble or doubt, he is right there with us to pick us up and carry us through. So remember, when God calls you to a new thing, whether it's at the first of the year or any other time, it may require you to let go of some things. It may require you to renew or expand your thinking. It will require time, so don't grow weary and give up. Hold on to the truth of God's word and his faithfulness. Remember, from God's vantage point, he already sees it completed. It's already completed, and he is walking with us, so we too will see it come to fruition. I hope you will spend some time reviewing the scriptures we covered. Step into new things God has in store for you this year, confident that he who has begun a new thing will complete it. Forget past failures and even past successes, and know God has more ways than we can imagine to complete what he starts. Thank you for joining me today. And if today's topic has encouraged you, I'd love for you to leave a comment and let me hear from you on what God is inviting you into. I feel like 2026 is an exciting year. He's got a lot of new things for a lot of people. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe to this channel, and then share this with someone who might also need some encouragement. So until next time, again, thanks for joining me on Searching the Scriptures with Coach Violet.